social media as a force in Afghanistan, Asia's newest art player, and growing a new Japanese design brand. Those stories and much more today on Monocle. From Kabul, Daniela Pellet reports on the role social media plays for coalition forces and Afghans alike.
It has to be honest, transparent communication. If it's presenting an image of things that doesn't meet the reality that most Afghans see, I think it's incredibly dangerous.
And from Japan, Fiona Wilson reports on the skills required to craft a new design business.
We apply the same skills that have been used for 1,300 years. It's the same skills that carpenters use to build some of the temples in Nara and Kyoto. So we inherit the techniques and we apply them here to make modern buildings, but with traditional Japanese architecture techniques.
Hello and welcome to the 6th edition of Monocle. I'm Tyler Brulé. Well, you might call it good old wartime propaganda, or you could also label it 21st century social marketing, as the government of Afghanistan and coalition forces try to win over skeptical citizens through educational advertising initiatives. It's opened up a lucrative market for daring media companies. Daniela Pellet reports from Kabul on how the message is getting out there.
You can't miss them. On roadsides, at roundabouts, and plastered on buildings across Afghanistan, huge graphic billboards pushing not products but national unity and the path to a better future. These low-tech messages in this high-stakes environment are designed to win over the hearts and minds of ordinary Afghans, like Kabul taxi driver Gullah Mohammed.
They have put many pictures up, and if someone sees it once, they will look at it, but then no one has enough time to stop and really look. At the beginning, people used to stop, but now no one is looking at the messages anymore. They don't care.
There's what they call PSYOPs, which is media and other campaigns through radio and TV and through newspapers to show a positive picture of the Afghan government, of Afghan security forces.
This is not an easy sell in Afghanistan, where people are understandably cynical after 30 years of nearly continuous conflict. It's further complicated by the fact that more than 70% of the population can neither read nor write. Although NATO produces its own newspaper, not many people seem to actually read it. So agencies use creative and largely visual methods to sell their message, such as television advertising intended to brand the Afghan National Army as an inclusive symbol of national pride, as well as a good career choice.
Man askaram, man askaram, man khodme in keshwaram.
There are radio spots to promote the use of clean water and educational dramas about preventing childhood diseases. Although much of the funding comes from NATO, foreign embassies and international aid agencies, this wave of social marketing is being rolled out by a new generation of homegrown Afghan media agencies like Sayara.
These are distributed to schools and have very typical cartoon characters, like a kaka, an old wise man with his grandson. The comic is about not to use opium. Rasul's father in this booklet gave opium to his son to kill his pain. And Yassin says, no, that's wrong. We have to take him to a hospital and see what's wrong with Rasul.
Sayara says its campaigns are proving effective in raising awareness.
What has happened before is that most of the messages are designed and crafted in Kabul and then sent through radio or video or print in the field. And then people say, well, you don't really know what's happening to us. You don't know what are real problems and challenges in the field. That's why our guys, they have to go to the field, talk to people, and find out really what the problems and issues are there. We usually monitor what we put out in terms of messaging. We have regional coordinators who are on the ground, and when we communicate on a message, they gauge the effectiveness, or basically they find out whether the message is really working among people. Communication in itself is not enough. If we talk about corruption and tell the people, okay, corruption is bad and it ruins the society in the structure, and then the rule of law people don't go in handcuff the guy who is corrupt, then people won't trust on the messages.
Well, I think it's important to communicate to the Afghan people what you're doing, what your intents are, but it has to be honest, transparent communication. If it's, you know, shall we say propaganda, if it's something where you're presenting an image of things that doesn't meet the reality that most Afghans see, I think it's incredibly dangerous because you raise expectations and you create expectations that you can't possibly meet.
As Afghans try to take charge of their own fate, those behind such social marketing campaigns hope that, by capturing the nation's imagination, real change can follow. In Kabul, for Monocle, I'm Daniela Peled.
After the break, it's briefings time here on Monocle. More in a moment.